neglect thinking about how we assemble ourselves in a seat. And so as you collect yourself in this upright shape, think about how and experience how you really want to do this, because we will be here for a while, and while we will move from a seated position. And so you can maybe see that I have my sits bones on a blanket to bring a slight bit of anterior tilt into my pelvis. That makes my lumbar spine more natural, and it allows my whole spine to be more in line with gravity. So that's one way to do it. If you have the kind of seat where your legs can be open, but you could also be seated on a chair or even a couch if you can sit upright. But another nice way to sit is to have a block or a blanket and to come into a position where you have one foot on either side of that block or blanket, and then you bring the hips onto that, and you could make that of any height. And if you'd like, you could even bring something under your feet to have a slight flex in the ankle, because not everybody can sit with the ankles completely flat on the ground. And this too, you can see, is a slight forward slant of the pelvis to create that same natural curve in the spine. And it allows you to sit very upright and yet very easeful. So I invite you to assemble whatever props you need to find a comfortable position. And then once you're there, I invite you to draw your attention inward. Your eyes may cast downward to find a drishti somewhere on the floor ahead of you, or you might even choose to close your eyes. Take a very conscious yet natural breath in and out. Sensing into your flow of energy in this moment. Maybe you notice how shallow or deep your breath is flowing. Maybe you notice the texture of the breath. Whatever cue you can take from the breath to tune into your energy will be useful. You might even notice that as you sit here breathing mindfully, the breath evolves a bit. And as the breath evolves, so might your energy. And as you're tuning into your own energy, the energy that you're bringing with you today, notice if it's more on an active, maybe even slightly hyperactive side of things, or if it's more of a passive, down-regulated energy, or if it's an energy that feels balanced. Meeting whatever energy shows up in this moment with appreciation and with an open heart. Maybe with a little bit of curiosity and with the intention of withholding any judgment about what's showing up right now, right here. And remaining very attuned to your own breathing rhythm, we will begin to add some movement to this breath. Before we do, I'd really like to invite you to move with your own breath rhythm. So my cueing may be slightly off for you, in which case you can just ignore it. You can do the movement, but do it in your own time. Also, don't try to look at the screen and mimic other people's movements, but let the movement evolve from the inside out so that it mirrors the rhythm of your breath. We'll start very simply by raising the arms overhead with the inhalation, letting them flow with the rhythm of the breath. And we will lower them with the exhalation. Again, flowing with the rhythm of the breath. We will not be synchronized. And you may notice also over time that your own breath rhythm changes and that your movement may either slow down or speed up depending on what the breath is doing. As you take a few rounds of this breathing, stay very mindful of your energy, of what is reflected about your inner being in this outer movement. Perhaps tune into the reality, whether the speed of your movement, the smoothness or texture of your movement is optimal for you right now, or if it's simply habitual. And if it maybe could benefit from a slight tweaking, maybe slower, maybe faster. Just notice. And then if you would like to make a change to your own rhythm, absolutely feel free to let this movement evolve. And then we'll make a slight change to the movement. So you'll still inhale the arms up, but then let the palms meet at the top of the breath. Hold for a moment, and then when the exhalation wants to descend, draw the hands through your central channel, all the way through your lap, and then back out to the side, inhaling them back up. Resting the hands and the breath for a moment if that feels auspicious, before the exhalation draws the hands down through your heart and to the side. And as your nervous system gets used to this new way of moving in this moment, notice if there's a shift in the breath, a shift in your energy, and a shift in your response to what's happening. And be very okay with changing the speed of the movement if it intuitively feels that there is a better rhythm for you than the one you've chosen so far. Make sure you take one more full cycle of this breath and movement. And then the next time you inhale the arms up, when you draw the hands, the palms down, let the movement end at the heart so that your hands are in front of your heart, and take a moment to tune in, maybe feeling your own heartbeat. Tuning in whether your energy right now is any different than your energy just a few moments ago. Doing this without expectation of change, simply openness to change. And then with an out breath, allow the hands to come back to your lap or your legs or wherever they want to land. And then inhale your arms so that they're at shoulder height. And as you exhale, turn to the right, letting the left hip come forward. And maybe pause here before you inhale to lift the arms to come back to center. Maybe pausing before you exhale to turn to the other side. So exploring possibly a whole new rhythm here of breathing, where there's now a deliberate separation of the inhalation and the exhalation at both the bottom and the top of the breath. And then again, as you're moving here, tune into your own energy. Tune into your own sense of what is most useful for you in this moment. Would you like to move faster? Would you like to move slower? Would you like to have a longer hold at the bottom or the top of the breath? How is this movement reverberating in your energy and in your mind? You might also notice if there are any variations your body wants to take as you're moving in and out of this particular shape. You might notice if there are any stories emerging in the mind. Maybe a part of you is getting bored. Maybe a part of you is getting excited. Just notice what is happening here as you're moving. And if your mind is getting bored, can you inject some interest? Either by noticing the body from the inside out or by somehow switching up the speed or the shape of this tiny flow. And then the next time you have turned to your left, you can come back to center and once again tune in. Maybe hands at the heart. Noticing energy, noticing preferences, noticing stories in the mind. And just sitting with whatever is emerging for you. And then release the hands and bring them to your knees. Whether you're seated like this or in hero's pose or on a chair, it should still work, but make adjustments if they need to slide higher up on the leg. That's perfectly fine. And then we will take a circle with the torso around the legs. We're starting in a clockwise direction. And just notice how your own breath wants to combine with this movement. I'm not going to tell you how to do that because you'll probably have a natural way. For some of us, we'll want to inhale on the forward. For some of us, we'll want to inhale on the back. So just notice. Or maybe breath and movement don't sync up in a really, really regular way. Tune into what is happening here. And then if you would like, you could experiment with a little bit more speed. Letting the whole torso lean forward over the legs as you move forward Always making yourself parallel to the ground. Like a little bit of a forward fold when you're coming forward, and almost like a little bit, a back bend, and almost like a little rounding of the spine. So it's kind of a moving cat-cow variation. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and switch directions. Notice how this changes the movement. Notice how this changes the breath. Notice any impact on your energy. And notice any stories that are popping up in your mind here. It might be a very different story than during the more gentle movements earlier on. You're kind of like a spoon here in a pot, and you're stirring yourself up with this movement. Or as one of my teachers puts it, it's like you're on a ride, but you're the ride. You're the carousel and you're the rider all at the same time. And if you were moving pretty quickly, you might want to go ahead and slow this movement down. Maybe even letting it become slightly smaller so the circles are almost imperceptible on the outside as you're slowly, slowly bringing yourself back to stillness. And tune inward, tune into your energy now, just noticing if there's anything that's different about you. You could even bring your hands back to your heart to feel your heartbeat, to notice if there's something very tangible that has changed for you. And then go ahead and release your hands. And we will take another little Kriya where we will inhale and the arms will shoot up, and we'll exhale and the arms will come down. So it'll be a much more vigorous breath, a little bit faster. Again, you can move at your own speed. So if I'm moving too fast, don't feel the need to follow my lead. Maybe make noise through the nose as you're doing this. And then just to keep your mind really interested, we're going to make this a little more complicated. So the next time you come up and down, when you inhale the next time, box the arms forward and then draw them back. And then inhale up, down, forward, back, up, down, forward, back, up, down, forward, back. With your breath, inhaling when you move the arms away, exhaling when you draw them close. Maybe experimenting with different speeds, or maybe not. 2 more times in each direction. And then release yourself into this moment. Maybe the hands are at the heart, maybe they're resting, your choice. And notice your energy in this moment. Notice if anything comes up along the line of like or dislike. Notice any mental stories or distractions. Just open yourself up to whatever wants to show up for you in this moment, with curiosity and without judgment. And then for our final moving breath, you can either come to your knees, you could kneel on a blanket, that's what I'll do so that you can see me on the screen, or you can come fully to standing. Either way will work. Even seated will work, you just need to take care not to hit your hands on the ground. And on this last breath, we will actually breathe in a synchronized way. So I'm actually asking you to open your eyes and to look at the screen so that we can make our breath and our movement coordinated. This is the only synchronized part of yoga that I really love. And so let's see how it goes. This is called connection breath. And there are 6 movements to it. I will just talk you through it. If you already know it, then you can just join me from the beginning. If not, you might watch a full cycle and then join in. You'll inhale the arms up. Let the palms meet and draw them to the heart. Embrace the world by bringing the arms out. Exhale and bring the world to your heart. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, circle the arms around to your heart. And from here it repeats. Inhale, embrace the world. Draw it to your heart. Open yourself up to life in this moment and draw it deep into yourself. Reach for a higher purpose and exhale to your heart. Inhale to the heart. Inhale. Exhale to the heart. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale around the world, back home, without words. Last round. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, draw them to your heart. Inhale to embrace this moment. Exhale to draw it to your heart. Inhale to reach for a higher purpose. Exhale and draw it to your heart. And take a moment as you bow your head to your heart to sense into yourself, to sense into your presence right here, right now, to sense into the experience of your body, to reconnect to your energy, and to notice what's happening in the mind. And from this place of being very connected to all of your layers and very connected to this greater community, invite an intention for your time in class today. A greater purpose to which you can dedicate the merit of your work. And if something auspicious arose for you, you might choose to inhale it, to seal that intention into your heart. And then to exhale, to send that intention into your community. And then gently release your hands and lift your focus